speed. You can't let the bus go under 50 miles per hour or whatever. You got to keep going full bore and do all the work upgrading. So is that the end of the list? Are we ready? I think Phil has a question from our community submitted questions that we can start with, unless you have anything else that you want to touch on here.
No, let's go for it.
Phil.
All right, so the first question we actually had was in chat. It was to go back to the tournament. I don't know if you want to answer this or not, but a lot of the competitive teams right now are sort of waiting on that roster limit. They just wanted to ask about the size limit, and if you would answer that today.
So they can be ready Tuesday morning?
Well, basically, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big thing, but I've had multiple people ask in chat, so I didn't know if that was something.
How much wine have you had, Russ? Are you ready to be all loose-lipped?
Yeah, can you rephrase that? Probably I didn't catch that.
Basically, the roster limit for the tournament. People are wondering about the details about that.
Like how many team, how many backup, etc.
Yeah, I think whatever I share with you right now, you better confirm it with the official page when it goes live. But I think I've already said this, but I believe we know the tournament's 8v8, so your team is 8. I believe you can have a total team size of 12. So you have 4 subs, whatever you want to call them. And I know, I'm not sure if they all have to be, specific players, or if you're going to, whatever. You have 12 total team size, but 8's playing. And if you're one of the finalists, for the grand finals, it's only the team of 8 that gets all the travel and everything paid for to come to the tournament. The other 4 subs, if you guys want them to come, have to, pay their own way and everything. That's standard for other tournaments. Pretty much in all these cases, we just, really matched what other guys were already doing with their tournaments. So that answers your question, though. It's an 8v8 tournament, but I believe your total team size would be 12.
Okay. All right. So. Cool. Another question. This comes from Salma composed a list over at Reddit, and a bunch of people, and he put them. And this is by priority, and he is here in TeamSpeak with us, so he can verify this isn't a Phil question. But one of them was chat system, and it says MWO needs a much more usable and refined chat system, similar to other games. The ability to chat while searching, a global chat channel for all players, ability to chat without opening a social tab. Those windows should be placeable anywhere and can minimize outside of the social, all that. Do you have any comments on that? And that wasn't me.
It sounded like you.
It did sound like me, but.
No, one thing I'll say what I've said before, and that I agree, and it needs improvements, and you need to have a chat window basically on all screens. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to see your unit mates telling you they need to hurry and get into X planet, even when you're in the mech lab. So he's got my agreement, but I don't have anything else to say now other than I can't. We're finishing phase 3, and like always, these things eventually hit the top of the pile and then they get worked on. So I would agree that that's more than worthy of being on that list, and somewhere near the top of it.
So hopefully, yeah, that'll be a part of the polish pass after phase 3, before the next big thing starts. And by the way, Paul is in chat. Hi, Paul. Enjoy your dinner. But if there are any Paul-based questions, they can go there, and he can also help out. But anyway, yeah, that was a good question, one that people keep asking. So yeah, it's on the list. It is coming. We'll be happy to see those changes. Phil, you got another one?
We've got one here. It's a MC bounty system. I know that was talked about previously, like posted bounty. Any thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, I got caught reading chat there. Go ahead, ask me that one again.
You distracting chat people. Bounty systems. Will there be any kind of a bounty system? This person killed me, and I want everybody to hunt them down or whatever.
Well, it's not a part of phase 3. I mean, you guys know that, right? I mean, I've listed all the features that are in phase 3. So let's not take any more questions like that, just because it's all like, no, not yet, no, not yet, one day, someday. I know that was originally mentioned by Brian Ekman at some point. I personally have not thought about it myself yet. So I'm sorry, I don't have a very good answer for you there. I don't know. All right. It's a cool concept, isn't it? But sorry, Phil. When I was caught reading the text or the chat there, one thing I did see was um, someone asked if if a region like a European region would have to be
Region
100%
locks.
European
Yeah.
players. Again, the tournament page is going to have all these details, but it's a percentage. It doesn't have to be 100%, and I forget the percentage. So, um, oh boy, I'm going to get this wrong. So you have to verify when you get the tournament page goes up. But for example, you may have to have like, I don't know, if you have a team size of 8, because that's the minimum team size, you don't have to have 12, right? You could just have 8. It's a percentage, so maybe you need like 5 that are in European time zone or something like that. If you have a full 12, then it might need to be like 8 of them or something. So look for the details. It's not 100%, but it's a majority percentage within your region. And of course, you can only play for one team, and only one team total out of all regions.
I do want to. We're going to keep fishing questions out of live chat, and also we have, like Phil mentioned, this document that was put together by a lot of the community. We will get some questions out of there, but I do want to reiterate: if you have your questions, like when are we going to see this mech, Russ can answer those if he wants to, if he sees them in chat. But we're for the most part not going to ask questions about specific mechs because he's not going to have an answer, really. I mean, yes, we want every mech to be in eventually, and yes, a lot of them will be in eventually. But also other things like features, like we just mentioned, the chat. Now, of course, the chat is very important and people want to know, but hopefully let's just try and avoid questions that we know Russ is going to say, yes, we want this, but it's going to depend on resources and what other, things are happening at the same time. We'll do our best. But here's a question, Russ. And I know actually I've been hit up by this question by quite a few YouTubers and content creators. They want to know if there's going to be an ability to use the spectator tool in the testing grounds, not where you bring in, well, yeah, when you're solo in the testing grounds, because basically what he's saying is it'll instantly increase the value of camo patterns and paint and so forth, because people can take their own screenshots of themselves in game and show them off, and and then content creators, they're looking for screenshots for their thumbnails, etc. Spectator tool in testing grounds would be huge. Have you guys discussed that at all? For some people,
Yeah, not really. I mean, I imagine it's kind of like when we do a Twitch stream and we're like on the stable build, and we just press the key and we're like flying around and watching the mech run around, and people see that and they're like, "Oh my goodness, I want that." I never really thought of it in that way though before. Like thought of it as like spectator tool in testing grounds. It's kind of like in the past we thought about more of a glamour cam type thing. So maybe but essentially splitting hairs. So what they're really talking about, of course, is just having some sort of free cam mode in testing grounds where you can fly around and watch your mech stomp towards you and stuff, so you can take all your videos and shots of it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't say that was like sitting on my list of things. Okay, cool. Thank you for your comment and suggestion. I'll
Yep.
definitely talk about that.
Last town hall, you talked about a heat scale update. Do you have any more words on that?
For now, it's I guess I'd describe it as being on hold for the time being, and not just because of phase 3 again. I mean, I think our we're probably like 90% on our documentation and design process and film. We know kind of what needs to happen, and as soon as some engineers free up that we want to dedicate to that, and we're going to put them on it, and we'll get the work done. So I think that's a fairly near future item. It could be. I mean, it would have to be. It's a possibility of being sort of like a June, July type of thing. That's just like spitballing. I think it's not too far off. We can probably get to work on it fairly soon as people are free up.
There's quite a few questions about matchmaking, PSR, ELO, the system that used to be in. I'm going to try and sum them up into one question, which may fail. But if people have more specific, we can follow up with more specifics. But basically, they're wanting to know your overall feeling of the current PSR system matchmaking. Are you guys looking at the stats in the background, and are you happy with what you're seeing? Do you feel like there's the potential for more either development of PSR or a different system, or basically what is the status of the ranking system and matchmaking? Happy, not perfect, what?
Not perfect. I think it needs some attention and some eyeballs on it. I'm sure we can make some improvements. I think it's also probably working fairly close. I mean, reasonably close um, to as well as it can with a lot of the players that are in those tiers. Um, it's tough, right? Because the feedback and the experiences of our player base kind of greatly differ depending on where they live in the world and what time of day we're playing. So you might get a majority of players in the very high points of Eastern United States time zone where a lot of Europeans are already playing, plus they're playing at the highest peak of the day, highest peaks of the day, and things are working really smoothly and probably having a very good experience compared to lower parts of the day where they may be running into some frustration of the higher tier players either waiting a little bit longer or not getting the quality of matches they feel like they should have. So in some ways it might just be working about as close to as well as it can with the player numbers that are online and parts of the day. But I think there's always room for improvements. I know we've talked about I still would like to see a tweak to the PSR system to make it even more so about personal performance rather than the team win or the team loss. And there's some of that in it already, as you know, but it's a little bit skewed still towards the win or the loss. I think that could potentially help get some players that play, in particular in the solo queue, that are, always generally on the upper end of their team, so that they might have more opportunities to, go up into the higher tiers. So, it's been, we've focused on phase 3 the last few months. Let's, we have now been thinking about that for a few months now as we, again, so standard answer a little bit. I think we could try to give it some time after phase 3 is released. But, there's a couple things there for you to chew on as far as, we have to realize that at certain times of the day, there's less players to work with, and it can be difficult for a matchmaking system to do, a perfect job. I mean, there's just some limitations.
So I'm seeing this comment a lot, and we actually have it in the notes here that Tyler just said. One of the main issues with PSR is it isn't zero sum. It's far too easy to move up, and you do so too slowly. Players of X skill should be put in X tier near instantly, not over the course of hundreds of games. Now, the use of zero sum, you guys are sort of using it as a matchmaker just to make sure a sort of general skill level, right? But I mean, there's a pretty big difference between someone who's a tier 1 and a tier 1. I mean, versus another tier 1. There could be a huge gap even between them. Have you guys thought about doing a zero sum?
Well, you might have to define it a little more. So to me, that sounds pretty general. I mean, what do you mean?
Okay, I'm reading it on here. It says, moving back to the ELO system, a percentage of distribution of tiers, rank changes based on your performance in a match relative to other players in a match, mech variant average, match score benchmarks. We've had quite a bit of people post up here. Let me try to get the actual post for you. Just one second.
Well, I don't actually personally know the definition of zero sum as far as using that as a matchmaker. Can you tell me what that means? Because I don't even know what that means. Or maybe we, Phil, do you know?
I'm pulling it up right now. One sec.
Okay.
I mean, one of the comments you made was there's a big difference between a tier 1 player and a tier 1 player.
So somebody that just entered tier 1 and maybe somebody...
That just says people were saying, let's split them up even further to create tighter matches. So what you're going to have happen is you're going to increase your wait times longer and longer and longer. You're going to, instead of 5 tiers, if you want 10 tiers, because you want, to play, if you're the top tier 1 player and you only want to play other top tier 1 players, your wait time is going to go up.
Chad is essentially saying zero sum
Yes.
means that for every winner, there's a loser. So if somebody goes up, somebody goes down. But this obviously isn't my field of expertise or Phil, so I don't know.
I think a lot of the theory crafting that goes on, though, unfortunately, is that people have a lot of great ideas, very smart people out there in the community that understand these things very well.
No doubt.
But they're also probably making the mistake, not all of them, but not all the time, but making the mistake of designing in their mind based on, let's say the player base of Counter-Strike Go or something, as an example. Say there's a lot of players. I mean, tens and hundreds of thousands of players at any given moment online. And the amount of players in the matchmaker must be, it could be 100 times as many. So we have to work with, there's just the fact that you have a spread of tier 1 to tier 3. We've tried to find the middle ground. And right now I've got things set the way they have, but I mean, I know that we don't have multiple tiers. Say maybe tier 1 isn't broken up between tier 0 and tier 1, so like top. So adding more tiers, I'd like to do that because I'd like to give players more ability to level up, so to speak, and progress and have more things to do and to growing their character and their skill level. But I could flip a dial. I've got all the dials. I'm staring at it right now. I just bring it up. I mean, it wants to spread to a maximum of 2 tiers, So right now you could have tier 1, 2, and 3 together. Now, you're probably not going to get, unless you've waited for at least 2 full minutes, is it going to start to spread? But but at the same time, I could set that to say 0, so stay in the exact same tier. So it means tier 1 players will literally sit there and wait for only other tier 1 players, and it works. But just wait longer. And for all the players out there that say, yeah, I want to wait an extra 60 seconds to get a better match, there's just as many that jump on and scream bloody murder that they're waiting too long. So we try to find a happy medium. And I think, again, there's a lot of good ideas that players have for improving the matchmaking to make it, to try and help it find the same skill level of players. And I guess you have to trust us that, we've thought of these things as well, but we also understand the limitations of the player pool and how we also keep them from waiting too long. If I look at the chart system, I can tell you the average wait time per match, and I don't think it's overly long. In fact, I think it's pretty impressive for the size of the game that Mecro Online is. But that's a heavily opinion-laden topic right there. Of course, one person's totally acceptable as another person's
and I'm seeing
inexcusable.
I'm seeing that in chat.
Well-
What I'm thinking here, Phil, is that maybe we want to have a podcast with the applicable person that knows.
Yeah. No, I think that's fine. I think what just needs to be understood is like this sort of idea that the competitive nature of people, right? They want to, I want this match to be as competitive as possible. The only problem is what happens if your wait times skyrocket because there's no one else online of said group size, combination
And
of
some
group
people
size.
would say that's fine.
So
Some people
yeah,
would say it's
exactly.
the worst.
So that I'm okay with having that discussion on a podcast.
So like
definitely.
right now, like in the group queue, the average wait time, for like a group of 2 is like 51 seconds. It says an average wait time for a group of 3 is 35 seconds. And I have all these stats. And if they're anything under 60 seconds, to me, my opinion is like, that's great. But you have some extreme cases too, right? Like you have these averages, those are just averages. You've also got, of course, that one group of 12 that were all top level tier 1s. And, they waited like literally 10 times longer than that, like one time. I can see those extremes on my chart as well. So we try to create, an average. The average wait time for the entire group queue combined is 96 seconds currently. Believe it or not, it says the average wait time totally combined in the solo queues actually a little bit longer than that, about 2 minutes. The low end 40 seconds on both. So, and that's just a dial. If overall the feedback is, hey, we're waiting too long for matches, I can change these dials so it's much quicker. Maybe I can bring the average wait time down by, 30 seconds and say, okay, great. So you please those people, but you make the other people that are a little more interested in competitiveness and whatnot, then they become, less happy. So we do have to deal with the niche product that we have, and even still, I mean, it's it's a lot of people online. I mean, you have to have a lot of people playing. Most people might not have ever expected that MechWarrior Online, being a niche product historically, would ever be able to have the type of players necessary to have a game functioning like as well as we have it running, with an entire solo queue, entire group queue, and then community warfare notion running at all times as well as private matches. So all of it works less than perfectly, but all works pretty well for managing the players that we have. So it might sound like I'm just saying there's no work to be done. I'm not saying that. There's always ways to improve it, but we have to realize that we're not working with the player base of Counter-Strike Go here.
Is that what community warfare is? Like, you want the I mean, that's basically, if you want the most competitive matches, go play in community warfare or play private matches, right?
Queue. Yeah,
right. I mean,
join a unit and go into community warfare for sure. That's your most competitive matches,
Paul,
especially now without the pugs in there. Boy, the unit queue. People are gonna get pissed off at me for saying this. This isn't like a mediocre comment, but like we're gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be a totally different ballgame for those unit players. I mean, they're only gonna be playing each other, and that's it. They're gonna be bumping into each other, and they're not gonna be a unit running up against a full team of pugs and kind of missing each other, and they're gonna have to play each other, and they're only going to run into each other, and there's going to be some fierce competition in unit queue.
Real quick, as far as, yes, we are going to move on from the topic of matchmaking and so forth. If you guys want to know more about that, more about the system that's in there, more about the possibilities of zero sum and all this stuff, we will have Paul or somebody applicable in a podcast. We will discuss it. We'll get into it, and maybe Phil, myself, and Russ aren't the best people to talk about it, but whatever. We will move on.
I got a good one.
Okay, go for it.
So this is involving maps. Can we get constantly changing spawn locations for each map? Group the team together in different locations and indicate the friendly and enemy spawns on the loading screen, or else make several variations of the maps for different spawns. Basically, people are just wanting, dynamic spawns. Is that something you guys have thought about?
All I can say about the spawning is that we do have the only feature that I know of that's coming, that's I guess thought of at this point, is that you can select your who you spawn with. So essentially, right now you can shift the lances around right at the preloading screen, but even if you change people to be in lances with each other, they still spawn at the spawn point they were always going to spawn at. So now they would actually shift and spawn at the one that you shifted them to. So it's not dynamic spawn points. The spawn points are still static. Like alpha, the 3 lances are still still gonna spawn where they're gonna spawn, but you can dynamically shift what players spawn where. That's the first step. Beyond that, there's we're not thinking about any dynamic spawn points, not yet.
I actually had a different question, but I'm gonna table it for a second, because this is something I've been seeing come up over the last, I don't know, 2 months or something like that. People keep petitioning or championing pink paint. Why is pink not in, and why is pink? Is it on the table? Are we going to bring a pink into the color into the game? Everybody has their colors that they want.
Yeah, I don't really have a comment on that.
I was wondering if there's a big
I'm not fully against it. I think it's just something that goes back to the beginning, where we just wanted to make sure that we had a serious game and a hardcore game, and that was. I mean, I think we could say now that there's some there's some pretty flashy colors in the game that are
Right?
pretty much exactly like, I mean,
For the
who's to say
reasons that we wouldn't use pink, we're using other.
yeah, it's I don't think it's a problem. I'm not
Right.
fully against it. Honestly, I just don't spend any time thinking about it.
No,
So
I know.
I'll talk to the
Yes, I know some
I
of you
gotta
out
get in
there
a-
don't care about
I got to
pink.
get in a fist fight with Dennis. He's against it.
I heard. See,
Yeah.
Dennis's
Well,
name was brought up, but I didn't
yeah,
want to say anything.
I think we're both on the same page, though. Let's say Russ and Dennis are kind
Okay.
of not really into it. So
I mean, we
Think
have
pink, Russ,
purple.
think
We
pink.
have purple. I mean, you might as well. Another question we have, and this is sort of the lines of spawn locations, but it has to do with the ability to quick select mechs after a map is chosen. Obviously, now that there's voting out there, and then that's hard locked, and what happens if you get put on, a short range mech on Alpine and it's skirmish and stuff like that. Has there been any talk about possibly being able to choose a mech now that some of these things are going in, like you bring 4 in and you can choose which one?
Talk, yes, but we specifically have decided not to do that, and there's several reasons for it. And even when we were creating the voting screen, we knew that people would naturally bring this up again, and we were saying no, we're not doing that. It's not a lobby; it's a voting screen. First off, there's huge technical differences between just voting on game modes and maps and actually loading mechs and mech loadouts and everything into that. So the technical difficulty and difference is pretty extreme. So certainly it's possible, but it's not like, oh, you already have that screen, now just add mech, that's easy. That's not the case. B, I'm personally not into it because I personally don't like the notion of, oh, look, everyone voted for Polar Highlands. Now I'm going to load my nonstop laser and LRM boats. You should, I believe, have to take out a mech that there's some risk involved in that you don't know for sure what map you're going to get on. So if you go out with nothing but super hot laser boat or nothing but LRMs and you end up in, Caustic Valley, then, maybe you should have taken a more diverse loadout. Now, that's just more of a personal thing. And there's going to be a bunch of players that are on my side and a bunch of players that hate that. But the biggest aspect, of course, is it comes down to matchmaking again. It basically, and the most important aspect, I should say, is that it's not my opinion or the difficulty in putting it into the preload screen. It is the matchmaking aspect where it adds a lot of complexity. I mean, remember the matchmaker just spent all this time trying to find a match with the best players possible, but also what mechs the players were playing. So, solo queue, we tried it's always even matching, per side. So in the solo queue, it might be a perfect 3-3-3-3, but even if it's not, both sides have the exact same combinations of mechs. So if it's 4 mediums and 4 mediums on either side, 3 mediums, 3 lights per side, et cetera, it matches perfectly. And so now you get to this mech selection screen. So now we have to add a lot more complexity to it. So now if you, for the matchmaker, were in a 55-ton medium, that means all your mechs in that selector screen have to be really 55-ton mediums, because if you let them choose something besides a 55-ton medium, then you've just blown up the matchmaker. So now you got to do the matchmaking again after. So there's a lot of matchmaking complexity there, and that's just touching on it. That is the most important thing. That is the reason why. I don't think people were thinking of that aspect. Say, oh, great, look, it's Polar Highlands. I'm going to take now I'm going to take out my Atlas. So now all of a sudden we end up with 7 assaults on one side and 0 on the other because everyone changed their mechs up and they knew what map they're going to. So it's a big matchmaking problem there.
All right, we've gone another hour, a little bit over an hour. Do you want to take a 5-minute bio, come back, answer some questions, and call it a night? Does that sound like a good schedule for you? Or
yeah, let's do that.
all right, guys, we are going to take 5 minutes just to remind everybody this town hall meeting will be up on YouTube tonight, and then it will be up on SoundCloud within the next day or two. So if you did miss the beginning, whatever, usually there's also a pretty good breakdown on Reddit that's happening during the town hall, so you can head on there, check that out. Also, immediately following tonight's town hall, Phil and I will be doing a 12-hour stream. So stick around. Be sure to stick around. We'll be going all night. So that's going to be fun. And let's see, is there anything else? I think that's it. So enjoy your 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
Click follow, retweet.
Get out of here, stalker.
Image enhancement engaged. All points attacking your target.
All right, everybody, mech warriors and mech fans, welcome back to, I believe, the third and final hour of the town hall meeting with Russ Bullock, president of Piranha Games, developers of Mech Warrior Online. We are Phil and Daeron from NoGutsNoGalaxy, and we are with Russ Bullock. So we've been doing lots of Q&A here, and we're going to continue with that. This final hour is going to consist of more live questions from chat, as well as the questions that were collected by the community. But Russ, did you want to mention what we were talking about? Not the second thing, but the first thing now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I read in chat there someone was asking about band waves. I'm just going to do a quick update here. One thing I'm going to say tonight, and again, I'm being really careful because it's a game of cat and mouse, as I've explained, when it comes to the creators of any kind of cheat program. And I just want to mention that we have not stopped. We are actively working on it. We're actively creating, I guess I'll call it, new methods. And that's all I can say about that. And, we're constantly doing that and constantly working on the problem. We haven't stopped yet. And I think we're building towards something, and I probably said too much already. So I just, please, I guess I'll just express again that we know the numbers. They're quite low. We're happy about that. That does not mean that it's saying, oh, we don't have to work on it. We're working on it just as much as if it was higher. And I think I'm not worried about the tournament at all. I'll put it that way. We're going to be well prepared and in a great spot, and we're going to have a very competitive and clean environment for that. And I just want to assure you of that. That's all I can say. I know it sounds there's my biggest riddle statement.
So
of the
mysterious.
Night, I really have to be that way, and I don't want to be. I want to tell you all of it, but that would be dumb.
Well, can't you liken it to, like if a police department's going an investigation or something, they're not going to be transparent about everything that they're investigating. Same issue, right? I mean,
well,
obviously.
Yeah, and in particular, yeah, pretty much. And it's just like, if we, so let's say we were, this is the best way to put it, I guess, safest way to put it is, as we've already detected,
right.
These methods several times, and once that you detect it and then you ban a bunch of people, those people work around that detection. I mean, these programs work in frickin', Counter-Strike Go on Valve anti-cheat. That stuff is nothing to this. I mean, we've detected these programs more than most of these large games have. So we're actively working on it, and that's why I can't say anything, because if they know, oh, hey, we're going to use this method, then we're done. So it's just we're actively working on it. But again, don't be out there in a witch hunt. It is not rampant at all.
So it's not on the back burner. It's not being ignored. It's being worked on, and information will be made available when it's time for it to be available. All right. Let's see. I believe, Phil, did you have something? I know there was one question going through chat quite a bit. Do you want to ask that one?
It was in regards to basically match size. The tournament's 8v8. Have, I guess
the comp scene's 8v8.
Well, let's reword this question. Since you guys went to 12v12, and there's been discussions about changing the weight restrictions in Group Q, right, tonnage, and you guys have tossed around ideas of changing group size and all this. What are your thoughts on the 12v12 currently in Group Q and even in solo matches? Are you guys happy with where it's at?
But hold on, because that wasn't exactly the question. You can definitely answer that aspect of the question, but just so that the question doesn't keep going through chat. It's also regarding since there are these ways, whether it be player-run tournaments or the official tournament that is 8v8, will there be a method or a way for people to play 8v8s? Now, obviously, the immediate answer is private matches. Anybody can play any kind of size. But I guess he's asking, will there be a separate queue, which obviously brings up another issue, dividing the queue more. But then going back to, yes, Phil's question, with all that in mind.
Yeah, okay. Well, first off, people might be wondering, is public queue and group queue, community warfare, whatever, is that all going to ever go back to 8v8? The answer is no, it won't. I am happy with 12v12. I do like 12v12. I understand how 8v8 works better for a comp situation, but this is not the first game to do this. Again, World of Tanks is a 15 versus 15 game, but their comp scene is 7 versus 7. So we're not carving new ground here. And if you look at the brand new maps, Polar Highlands and these others, they're much bigger. The community warfare situation, I think I like public queue, group queue, community warfare is 12v12, and I think it's best company 12 versus 12. But the mode, obviously private matches, yes. And then of course, as I've explained, that's what Solaris ranked mode is going to be, right? Solaris will be, let's say, initial feature set, let's say it's 1v1s and 8v8s. So you can have your 1v1 ranked Solaris play, who's the king of 50-ton mechs in the entire inner sphere. And then you could have your teams with your named teams that are ranked. And that becomes your preliminaries and leads into your... So next year, we don't have to do, regional, prelims. We just have regional finals because we already know who qualified because we have our ranked play. So 8v8 will become a ranked mode within Solaris, within a ranked mode. So that's where you'll play your team play. So, you'll get together. You can do unit play in community warfare or do group public matches, or you could get your team together and, you could practice in private matches if you want, or you can get your team together and actually launch into the ranked play, which of course is a matchmaking mode where you're playing against other ranked teams, similarly ranked teams. Yes, the buckets become a concern across the board. So that's always up top of our mind. It's possible. It's absolutely possible that the player base does not support that many buckets, and we'll have to consider what to do at that time, how to consolidate the players more in various ways. We always have to think about that. That's not a new concern. But yeah, that's where I do not see us changing public queue, group queue, community warfare from 12v12. I view 8v8 as a ranked team mode. That just like, again, World of Tanks does it like that. They have their essentially their public queue, and then they have team battles, which is where you go to do your ranked play. So it'd be very much like that.
Cool. Sounds good. Phil, you got another one, or you want me to grab one?
We've got one here, and this is sort of we've asked you before, but it has to do with the skill tree depth. Or have you guys looked at updating that?
The mech tree, is that what you said?
The skill tree. Sorry.
Skill tree. Yeah, I mean, same answers. You guys know we've been busy with phase 3 and stuff, so it's not being worked on yet, but it is
on the list,
way up there. It's like, several of us, Brian Windover, one of the engineers in particular, brings it up weekly. I mean, it's a giant eyesore to us and everybody around us. Needs to be fixed, needs to be completely replaced. So sorry guys, no, there's no more details to that, and I wouldn't expect to be able to provide you more details for several months at least as we can get out of phase 3, start working on next major feature, and then maybe come up with a new design for this.
Yeah, the important part is it's on top of the list, which obviously, just looking at chat, a lot of people are happy about that as well. I have a question regarding maps and actually the artwork. We know that the mechs were all recently updated, 2K minimums and so forth. People are asking about map textures. Is there going to be... I don't know if they're just saying, are you going to update old ones? I think that's what you're saying, because the new maps have higher quality texture, right?
Yeah, I don't know the technical details there, but
Yeah.
I believe so. And obviously, if you look at the like Frozen City compared to Polar Highlands looks a lot better, doesn't it? So
Absolutely.
the redux, the redo of Frozen City that's happening right now, obviously will it'll get that treatment, so it'll be much more Polar Highlands looking as far as art wise, but be Frozen City. So yeah, I think that's happening naturally. Yes.
Yeah, so the older maps will get updated. The newer maps obviously have the better artwork. And of course, even going further, if there's any kind of engine update, maybe that'll affect things too. Phil, you got the next one?
This was any plans to advance the timeline to include more mechs, more tech, and all that.
What is, Russ, why don't you just tell us what the deal is with the timeline? What is the deal with the timeline?
I did. I mean, I say that every time, don't I?
Yeah.
You were joking, I think. I
Yeah.
hope. Yeah, no, it's it'll be advanced naturally. I just don't think it's time yet. I mean, we haven't stopped releasing mechs, as you've noticed. They keep coming out. We haven't run out of mechs to release yet. And I think Phase 3 is a big trigger here as well, because I think some of it is just kind of making sure that we sort of fulfill the design goal of really, simulating the clan invasion, the original clan invasion. So, with Phase 3 was released, with all the war planning, voting, and all the stuff that goes along with it, after that runs for an amount of time, I don't know if that's 6 months or 12, but I don't know. But there will come a time when it will advance, and it'll probably be dedicated, or be predicated on the availability of content. I mean, I think a lot of people have to realize that you, like us, like most of you, I think, or all of you that are here listening tonight, if you're here listening, that means you care, and you've probably been playing for a long time. We want this game to be around for another 7 years. We don't want to get too hasty here. I mean, I can move the timeline ahead and introduce all the mechs and technology that you want, and then, sorry, but that's just kind of a notion of game development and online products. I mean, we have to pace ourselves here a bit. So I don't feel inclined to move on until I've literally scraped the bottom of the barrel, and it's like, okay, time to move on. We need next mechs and next technology and next year increase to introduce all that content. And it'll be difficult. There's a lot of balancing challenges as we move forward. Like, I won't even get into it now. I don't even know how we'll see heavy
Right.
large lasers.
MRMs.
It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So there's concerns there, but there's mechs that we still have mechs that we can release. So in fact, why don't we talk about a mech right now?
Oh
What do you
boy,
say?
here it is.
Should we?
Yes.
So let's announce a mech right now, because I love announcing mechs.
No, you don't.
I'm going to just stretch this out further than I've stretched out any other one so far. How long do you think I've like nursed this out for? Like probably 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes before. So let's go like 6 minutes this time.
I should just totally like put up the artwork.
I have artwork.
I should just put it up. I should just put it up right now, and then everyone would know.
Do we have the right one? Do we need to confirm this? We have our sources, Russ. I think we do have the right one, but
yeah, just give me a second, because I got the official paint job ones. I don't know if you guys did.
I don't know.
Because you guys know the process. There's Heroes Special, and there's the standard green paint jobs. I don't know if you guys have that.
I get the work in progress shots, so I get to drool over them, over the course of like a few weeks. And
we have this. We have a problem. It's mech porn addiction. We
does that link work for you, Phil?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, all right, I'm going to set the stage here a bit. Please, you guys, there's no way you know what this mech is, okay? All of you guesses, let's have some fun with this. This one, I would say, is kind of off the reservation a little bit.
I will be amazed if anybody gets this.
So, let's see. I'm going to watch chat. As soon as I see someone get it, we'll post it.
So I was going to
ask.
So we could be here for a bit, and this is not April 1st.
They want to know if it's BB-8. Is it BB-8?
It's not BB-8.
Nope.
There's some scared people, and that's fine. You can be scared.
So, in reference to this, it's always funny because
Oh my god, watch the chat, guys. There's so many fucking mechs. I'm never gonna see it if they say
Nobody got it
it.
yet.
I don't see it yet.
Nope. This is awesome. You're right. This is.
There's two different names for it. I have to kind of look for the other one.
Oh, you can't give them details. Now you're just giving them
Oh, hey,
hints.
real quick.
Well, they all have two names, kind of, don't they? It's clan. Okay, it's a clan mech. It's a clan's turn. I gotta help these guys out. They got nothing.
Right.
They're lost.
Hey, quick sub hype. Carrion Hound, Lord Tank, and Phoenix Falcon. Thank you for your support. Still don't see it in there.
No, this is a real shame.
Come on, people.
Do you even mech, bro?
Have you seen it?
Yeah, dude.
That's what I said.
Oh,
man.
you've seen it?
Oh, I see it.
Ah, yes, I do. Somebody
All right,
got
we
it.
post it?
The winner is. I shall name him after.
Hold on.
put the image
Let
up.
me.
Nice. Somebody got it.
Okay, you can stop spamming names now. We got it.
All right, who was the genius, Russ? Who's the one that got
I
it?
have it. As soon as it pops up, I'll give him credit.
All right, so as soon as it pops up on stream.
Boom.
So you place the image, right? Yep, there we go.
Yeah, I just did.
I'm curious how many people know it when they see it. Maybe a lot won't.
That
Bam!
there, gentlemen, that's. Yeah, I don't like the way that's like looking on that image there. It's kind of blending in, but that there is the Viper.
Do we have it with a white background?
It's
Phil?
was it Firefly Viper? Is that what?
It is the
Dragonfly.
Dragonfly Viper, yes.
Viper. So yeah, it was. Oh shoot! No, I probably forgot his name. Oh no.
I'll find it. It was
Shoot.
right.
I blew it. No.
Yeah, and chat won't scratch. Yeah, we lost it.
There's someone out there right now. Just.
He's like, damn it!
It's
I didn't
me.
get my 15 minutes.
If I see it again, I will know.
Yeah. It was all of you.
Oh, shame. Okay, well, you guys got it.
So I like that.
So,
Alex
yeah, check it
put
out. It's a very action shot, isn't it?
Yeah, Alex put the jump jets in there.
It's a 40-tonner. So one of the first things I saw in this chat when I said, "Hey, you're gonna guess?" Someone said, "Let it be a 40-tonner." So this is a cool, 40-ton Omni-Mech. And so here's where the questions are going to come. And this is it's a long conversation, so I'm not going to get totally into it. But when we were looking for the next Omni-Mechs to do, there was basically I had a couple of mediums and a couple of heavies that were really, on our mind, but there wasn't any. For now, the Flea is still a question mark from its speed. So that made it difficult on the lights and on the salts for various reasons, timelines and whatnot. I didn't have one that I was super happy with, so I wasn't able to come up with a 4 mech pack that we really believed in. And then as we thought about it, I really did not like. I don't know that we'll go back. You're not going to see a Clan Wave 4 is what I'm getting at, because the Clan Wave 4, as I continued to mull this over with the team, it was getting harder and harder moving forward to always make sure that there's like one light, one medium, one heavy, and one assault. And sometimes that's not the best scenario. At first, I considered doing kind of a 2 medium, 2 heavy pack. But then with the Clan Wave kind of mentality, it's like, well, okay, which is the first medium, which is the second medium? So which medium costs more than the other medium? And which heavy costs more than the other heavy? And how do you rearrange them? How do you order them? And then you start to realize that, there's some big advantages for doing the one mech pack system that we've been doing. And one thing I should state, I think a lot of people naturally were sort of voting for, hey, I want to have Clan Wave 4. And the reason they wanted Clan Wave 4 for some of them is because they look at that as more mechs. They say, well, that's 4 Omni-Mechs. although that's true, it takes 4 times longer to make them. So in the years where we worked on the packages, we would basically put out 3 packages in a year at most, right? So we basically like first of the year, like middle of the year, and then like the end of the year, if we worked our asses off, we'd get the 3 packs out for 12 mechs. It's 12. If you do 1 mech per month, you still get, so I guess what I'm saying is you're still going to get just as many Omni mechs in the same amount of time as you would if there was a wave package. And then you start to look at the value, especially when there's so much more flexibility. Like we're seeing people now where if we did a Clan Wave 4, let's say on the pricing model of before, so let's compare it to Clan Wave 3, and you have the Viper mech, it's medium. Or if I had the 4 mech pack, so if you wanted to buy the medium, you'd be paying $60. And for the $60, you would get the special Viper and the 2 regular variants Vipers. And that's it. Right now, if you just want the regular variants and the special, you pay $40. So the $40 is obviously a lot less money than $60. And if you just want the standard variant, you're paying $20 instead of $60. So you can spend 20 instead of 60, 40 instead of 60. But even if you spent 55 and you added the hero onto the special, you're getting the hero, the special, and the standards all for 55, which is still less than $60. And the other way, you don't get the hero mech. So, and plus, if we get some reinforcements add on, you can get them or not get them. I think, it's just there's so much more flexibility and so much more value, I think, for most people. A lot of people might just get the standard package plus the hero, right? A lot of people are doing that. They say, well, I don't really necessarily want the special skin, so I'll just do the standard plus the hero. Well, that's $35 versus $60. So I think it's I like it because, and another thing, this one maybe will stick with you guys a lot more. If you think back to when the 1 mech packs started, like with the Marauder, we did that mostly out of necessity because of the quote-unquote classic mechs and kind of didn't need to expose ourselves completely, kind of do one at a time. But we've seen some advantages, all the advantages I've listed, plus another big one is I think if you go back to the Marauder and go forward, I just think I think you would agree with me that all in all, I think the quality of the mechs and the textures and the overall mechs ever since the Marauder forward to this point have just had I just think they're just better. I just think there's a higher level of quality across the board when it comes to the mechs, and I think that's a benefit of a few things. Obviously, we're just getting better and better at what we're doing, but when you're working on a 4 mech pack, it just feels like there's less time per mech, and I think you just feel it a little bit, and so that's more of an internal development advantage. And then the other advantage, of course, as I've said before, is that at any given time, you've got one of your modelers making the mech, and you've got more modeling time for rescales, working on like a Union class dropship, the new pilot model. There's just a lot of things we can get done. So if you take that in consideration with the higher quality mechs and the better variety and stuff, I just couldn't bring myself to say, yeah, let's make Clan Wave 4. It just didn't feel as good. So there'll probably be some varying opinions on that, but it is what it is. And I think the Viper is a really refreshing change. I think it's not like one of the exact, I don't know, it's not what you were probably expecting. It's off the reservation a little bit, but we need a 40-ton. We could use another 40-ton, Omni mech, nice, medium jumper. So I think that's gonna be cool. And I don't know, unless you guys have any other questions, I am gonna say that I'm probably gonna really drop another mech on you mid-month. And
Oh, really?
yeah, the reason this is happening is it's a part of this whole process we went through here in the last month when I was exploring kind of doing this Clan Wave 4, and we're coming up with all the mech ideas, and then kind of ending up at 2 mediums and 2 heavies, and kind of this whole big debate about, well, geez, I'm not sure if we really should do like a Wave 4 or not. But if we were going to do a Wave 4 and do the 4 at once, then I wouldn't be able to announce it right now like I am tonight. It would take, a full 2 months to create all the concept images, so it would be at least another month from tonight before we'd be announcing it and putting it up for pre-order, because you have to concept that all for mechs. And because I didn't necessarily want to have that gap, we went to one of the mechs that we'd already had concepted, which was, well, I almost said
I
it. I'm
know,
not gonna
I
tell
know,
you.
I know.
No, you don't. Don't say it. Okay.
Don't say
So we already had something concepted, and Alex went back and kind of just sort of tweaked it because he finished the concept quite a while ago. And don't think flea; it's not the flea. So I'll say that. And so I thought, well, now we have it, and even though it's kind of the clan's turn to go on a bit of a run here, we are gonna. I think I'm gonna slip an IS mech somewhere around mid-month in here, and then first the next month we'll talk about the next Omni, or close to the first next month probably. So that's the tentative plans right now. Could change, but here's the Viper. I don't know. Is the reaction lukewarm, or what am I getting from chat? You guys into it or not?
It's positive.
Hashtag creepy hands. I think it's great. I mean, first of all, always use another chicken leg bird walker. Love those
Yeah, it's
mechs.
kind of like spindly Stormcrow arms, which we know are
Yes.
great. Really.
Yep. It's gonna be a fun one.
40-ton, 130 something
People were
kick
working on the
gauge.
speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's pre-speed tweak 130?
139-ish, I think. I'd have to look. But yeah, it'll be a solid mech.
Yeah, it'll be. It's pretty sexy too. I love Alex. One thing to touch on real quick about Alex and mechs and the process of building them. We are working behind the scenes on doing a little bit of a, I don't know what the term is, a video project showing you the creation of a mech from concept art all the way to finish through the 3D modeling and texturing and so forth. It's going to be a ways out, but it's an amazing process, and these artists that work at PGI are just incredibly talented. So I want to capture that whole process for you guys. But yeah, some nice hints at the potential next one that's going to be dropped in the middle of the month.
So I do have a next question. I'll leave the part up there, but you sort of hinted at this earlier, but save times. Obviously, as
Are we moving on to new questions here?
Oh yeah, I was.
Okay, so moving on from the mech announcement, take it away. Save times.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
Yeah. So save times, Russ. The more and more mechs we're getting, the longer and longer our save times are. This is a big concern. Obviously, is it? I mean, that's your product involves more and more mechs. Any news on that? Why it takes so long? Is there any improvements to that coming in the future?
Well, you just had to tank the whole mood.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say that's going to be warm and fuzzy, because yes, we know why it's taking too long, and no, it shouldn't be. Meaning, if we could redo the underlying code again, yes, it can be fixed, and it's not like, oh my god, like I'm not going to blame it, Cry 3 or something like that. We're just we're like, I don't want to try and get into the technical stuff because I might do it wrong, but obviously there's just way too much. The player has to check with the server for and do all of its server side checks, so everything's solid and hack proof and everything, so everything's server authoritative and everything, and we're just checking the entire inventory at times, and it's just not necessary. And that's a very, very simple way of describing the problem, and Nima's the engineer to fix it. And yes, we're going to fix it. And then the question really just becomes, and what we have to decide is, can we make it part of a technology upgrade path or not? Meaning, can we wait that long? And if we can't wait that long, then we'll fix it, right in the current tech, and then just also have it fixed, of course, in any kind of an upgrade path. So right now, that's essentially when phase 3 is out, and we're looking at the stuff at the top of our list. That was actually going to be started by Nima 6 months back or something. We'd had the work all planned out. We were just about ready to dive in, and something came up, something fairly big. I can't remember, and it priority-wise shifted us. So we know what to do. We've identified the work. We know what's done, that can be done a lot better, and it can be improved and sped up very quickly. It's just the work won't be quick, but we know how to make it so the save process will be very quick. Right now we just have to decide, like, are we jumping in straight away and dedicating the time now, or is it better to be left to as part of the upgrade time so that you fix it with that tech upgrade.
If we're going off chat, fix it now.
Fix it now. All right. Well, here's another one, and I'd love to see where chat places this in comparison to the one that we just mentioned. This is a huge one, and Russ, I'd love to hear what you have to say on this. When do we get just a universal remove all modules and cockpit items button? Just everything's off every single mech, so we can find that friggin' cockpit item that I don't know what mech it's on. Speaking of a bunch of mechs and long load times, how is that kind of in the same place as far as?
No, I mean that's something that's not being hung up by some necessity to recode or reprogram aspects of the back end or anything like that. We have a design, doesn't work exactly like that. It's not like a strip all. It's much more of a smart search feature. So essentially, you go to your warehouse, and if you need to get a gather target info module, and it's, I can't remember exactly. I'm going to get this wrong, but essentially, you'll see
where it is.
If you have 6 of them, and there'll be some functionality there, like a little button or a right click. I can't remember exactly, and it'll essentially, it'll tell you. It's like, oh hey, you've got 6 of them. These are the mechs they're on, and then you'll have the option there to say, oh, commando remove. So like, you can take it off your commando. So then it'll put it in your warehouse available for you so you can use it.
Cool.
So there's a design for it. We haven't started that work yet. So
Okay.
Again, these things always get debated, whether it's like, well, let's finish the decal system, because the UI system, when you're going to work in, the UI, there's, you can't be cooking too many things at once. And so,
Yep.
It's on that priority. It's like, okay, you got all the universal chat window stuff. You've got the decal system. You've got, this module system. There's a number of improvements that we need to make into the UI environment. And, we'll pick the most important one and start there and just start working away on.
I'm super happy to hear it's coming.
This is more of like a request, allowing players in the private lobbies to customize their mechs. Just a mech lab button in there. Currently having to drop out of the lobby entirely, get invited, which it's just an added,
It's an added
step.
Few steps to, somebody needs to drop out, change their mech up or whatever. It takes everybody's time.
If
Will
they
there
just
be
had
any
a-
way to adjust mechs?
Yeah, it's probably better if I don't comment on smaller aspects like that, just because it's just me repeating, saying, yeah, that'd be great, we should do that. But I don't have very good, proper information to like say like anything beyond that. I get it. You're right.
Yep.
That's needs to happen.
Polish.
So since it came out, Domination, what are your thoughts so far, Russ? Are you happy with the results?
I always dislike questions like that because I feel like the person asking the question has a strong opinion and they're just waiting to hear what I have to say so they can lay on me.
Well, to be honest, though, sometimes you have insight that we don't. So somebody with a very limited point of view might see it as being an issue, but with you, with the insight, you might not see it the same way. I know what you mean as far as a loaded question, but
well, I mean, it's it needed some adjustment in the beginning, and we made some fixes to it, and we're making some further fixes in April with some of the spawn points to make it more fair. I'd say it's pretty good. There's still other ways to make it better. Like people have other ideas for like randomizing the domination standpoint or something. But remember, I think it's a good mode. It's not a game changer. Like it's similar to the others. It's like, conquest, skirmish, domination, assault. They're all similar. Like meaning there isn't like a standout mode. Everyone has opinions. Some live and die by conquest. They love it. Others hate it. Some love skirmish. Some probably love domination. I view the assault mode rework as what's really going to be a standout game mode, and that's coming soon, May, June. That's going to be the standout game mode. but I think domination is. I think it's a worthy game mode. It's not super standout, but I think it provides a little more variety with slightly different gameplay than the others. And I think since we've made the tweaks to Conquest and Domination, they're in a fairly good spot now where we definitely have more game mode playing than we've seen in the past. There's a lot less, wipe the team out type stuff. There are people playing Conquest as Conquest. There are people playing Domination. So I don't know. So it's okay. So it's again, those questions are designed to see if I've failed in your eyes type of questions. So whatever. Thank you.
Oh boy, people. Anyway, yeah. There's questions here going on. Well, we talked about the big thing that's coming out is Phase 3. That's a huge endeavor. And then there after Phase 3, what's the next big thing? Obviously, you mentioned Solaris. Somebody just asked in chat, will Solaris be a thing? Yes, Solaris is going to be a thing. It's being worked on, at least on paper now, and Russ has talked about it this town hall, previous town halls. And similarly, there's a question here regarding single player campaign. Will it be offered someday as a DLC or something like that? I know you talk about single player every time too. Do you want to mention anything about that? I know there is some work being done on AI, and that's an ongoing process. Do you have any insights to single player, what it may be?
We're working on it. It's going to be a thing. We have paper design. We have
you're just repeating me.
We have stuff in engine. It's not time to book time off work yet, though. Either it's going to be a while yet, but it's going to be a thing. And I think the way you should look at it is it's not going to be just. I think there'll be a day. I'll put it this way: there'll come a day where there'll be PVE missions in MWO, but that won't be it. There'll also come a day, I believe, where there'll be standalone single player product as well.
Hell yeah!
So I think, as far as I'm concerned, they both need to happen, and they're both naturally going to happen. It's gonna be a ways yet, but they're happening.
All right. Well, I actually have a little follow up on that. People are asking in regards to, well, since there's potentially the single player could be happening in 2017 further. I don't know. It's it's out there. Any plans to do any type of cross promotion with the upcoming BattleTech game, like cockpit items that go, in both games, ads, other things or whatever? Any kind of plans to work beyond, obviously, art assets with them in the future? Or don't know yet? Are we not there yet?
Just reword that one for me again, please.
Just wanting to know if there's going to be any kind of cross promotions coming up with the upcoming BattleTech game, Jordan's thing, like cockpit items, ads, advertising, anything?
Yeah, I don't know yet. And those guys are, I think, about a year away still from their games release.
Year, yeah.
So, they were up at the office recently at our place, and as you know, they're sharing artwork, but we got to see their game and stuff. It's really cool. They're making great progress on it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's. We'd like to, I think we just have to make a concerted effort. So there might be some opportunities here this year for them to be involved with us at some, maybe like this tournament, maybe some events and stuff like that. So yeah, we need, I think the time is approaching where that would make sense. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
They were busy in pre-production, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll talk with them when they kind of get into their, getting closer to their maybe playable builds and things like that.
So I gotta ask it because more the private lobbies stock mode option. It's I think we get a why haven't we done that already? And I've got to ask
because of resources and time, I'm assuming. Phase 3.
Yeah, I mean, the guy I'd have do it has been working on the spectator mode improvements, so he's obviously going to run out of time here pretty much in about 2 weeks, because then the cutoff for the May patch will happen, and then at that point maybe I'll have him do that real quick. So that's hopefully soon.
Phil, I'm noticing on this document we have some balance questions. We haven't really touched much on balance tonight. Is there anything in here you see is applicable that we haven't discussed frequently? Russ, are there any balance issues that we could discuss? Otherwise, we can move on from balance. But
I think we're just gonna have to shut this down, man. It's been
boom.
3 hours. I
I
think.
know.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, but I think we're getting a little on the
Dragging it on.
a little bit in the repeat questions.
Rehashing.
I understand they're important to you because you don't have them, and please continue to ask until you get
All right.
them.
Well, then let's just go a
But,
few more minutes, and people can throw some questions in chat. We can wind down, and we can see if anything pops up that you want to answer there. Otherwise, we will close it down. It's been a long week, a busy week, and a long day, extremely long day, which is not going to end for Phil and I. For those of you that are here right now, please stick around. Phil and I will be doing our 12-hour stream immediately after this town hall. We'll be going to the wee hours of the morning, sunrise. This is all in celebration for you guys, getting us to, well, now we're going to be at 11,000 followers before we know it, but this is for 10K followers. Thank you all. So stick around. You seen any questions in there in chat that we can touch before we sign off? Anything?
I'm catching a few. Battle 2 Kid before Phase 3. No, there won't be this time. I don't have time for it, and I don't, sorry, but I think we're just going to focus on, launching nice and clean. Loyalty point or someone asked if there's going to be a loyalty points reset. No, not planning on doing that. Not going to, reset everything. Not unless everyone votes 100% that's what they want, but I don't think that's what they want. So no. What else? I'm getting some nerf the oxide in there. I'm getting some buff this, nerf that.
Yeah.
Buff machine guns. Okay. Yeah, I'm that's all I see there, guys.
Yeah, as always, of course, we don't get to every single question submitted. Remember, we are people. We have long days, long weeks, lots of work. We can't just do this for 10 hours. Although Phil and I, we will be here for.
Speak for
12,
yourself, old man.
I know, 12 hours plus. But obviously, we got to let Russ get to his weekend and so forth. We've been sticking to the one town hall every month. I think it's been great. We've been having great turnout, about 1,000 people each time. And we're getting a lot of information out there. So I look forward to doing it again next month. But obviously we got a big, huge patch coming. It's going to be a big month, a lot of stuff happening. So yeah, is there anything else we want to, everybody's waiting for the April Fools. There is no April Fool. I don't like this holiday. I don't like April Fools.
It's not a holiday. I think it's like
I know.
Valentine's Day. It's total
I
bullshit.
don't like
like
it, man. I just don't like it.
It's like okay, who's the yeah.
Yeah, but thank you, Russ, and as always, we totally appreciate you taking this time. Of course, you want to get home and be with your family and enjoy your weekend. So as always, we totally appreciate you being here and sharing your time with us.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. That April roadmap, it'll be early to mid next week before we get it posted for you to read it. But I express everything that it was. Pretty much Phase 3. So look forward to the next one of these. Look forward to, oh, by the way, the Viper page will go up on Wednesday.
Sweet.
That's kind of the process we've been jumping into. And can't wait for you to start guessing what that inner
Who the
sphere
hero
will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just so you all know, here's your April Fools. Paul says, here's balance. We're going to remove all but one mech and all but one weapon. And there you go. Balanced game.
Super balanced.
Super balanced. All right, guys. Thank you again on behalf of Piranha Games and No Guts, No Galaxy. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate all the work you guys do as a community. Salama and Zoof and everybody that's been helping organize questions or organize and moderate chat and everything. Thank you all. We appreciate it. As always, we appreciate you being here, Russ. We appreciate you being here, Paul, and sharing the evening with us, even though you're not going to respond. Thank you. We love you for it. And I hope you all stick around for our 12-hour stream. We've got a lot of interesting things planned. We'll see what happens throughout the night. I'm going to make some more coffee or get a monster or something like that. But anyway, we'll let you go, Russ. Anything you've got to say, Phil?
I just
before we
want to
go?
say thank you to everyone out there. Don't forget, guys, if you're new to the channel, maybe you enjoy yourself every single day watching mech porn here, or maybe you've never watched mech porn here or talked mech porn. Click that follow button. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We just posted up a podcast from this Wednesday, number 137, and it looks like we have another topic, the zero sum and PSR
Yeah.
matchmaking and stuff like that. And I know the perfect Lord, aka Trev, to talk to. Anyways, just want to say thank you again for coming out. Don't forget to check us out on all those things. And of course, I am literally in the mech lab right now, so there's no downtime for me. So Russ, thank you. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Don't do anything, well, I wouldn't do, which
Do everything he would do or something. Anyway, yeah. Have a good weekend.
and yeah, we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Goodbye.
Hey, have fun with your 12-hour stream, guys.
Thanks,
And,
Russ.
thanks for playing. Bye.
Thanks,
Okay.
man. See ya.
All right, I'm just
Just
in
gonna
the mech
switch
lab.
right over. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to take a bio break. Maybe eat something real quick. Either get a monster or some coffee. I'll be joining you. Who knows what we're gonna be doing over the next 12 hours? But we'll have some fun, right? So, do you know if you just gonna drop some solo for a bit to warm up, or what are you gonna do? Phil.
Oh, I got
He's like-
hold on. I gotta fix
Uh-huh.
the things.